She continued her stroll through the village, her laughter mingling with the joyous sounds that surrounded her. The air was alive with the scent of fresh bread and blooming lilacs, inviting her to explore deeper. As she wandered past the vibrant market stalls, her eyes danced from the vivid tapestries that hung like colorful clouds to the glistening necklaces crafted with local gems. Every item told a story, a thread of the village's rich tapestry, and she ate up every moment, feeling an unexplainable connection to the heart of this place. She paused at a stall brimming with fruits and vegetables, their colors as bold as her outfit. The vendor, an older woman with a kind smile, chuckled. "You look like you stepped out of a painting, dear." Encouraged by the compliment, she twirled slightly, her outfit catching the sunlight, transforming it into dazzling sparkles that danced around her. The woman handed her a ripe peach, the warmth of the summer sun still clinging to its skin. "Here, take this for the road. It's the sweetest you'll find." With a playful grin, she accepted the peach and took a bite right away, the juice dribbling down her chin. Laughter erupted from a group of children nearby, their round cheeks filled with delight at her messy enjoyment. She waved at them, inviting their energy to swirl around her like a whirlwind, and soon they were competing to tell the loudest story, their voices punctuating the warm afternoon air. She was drawn into their games, their carefree spirits wrapping around her like a soft blanket. As she moved on, she spotted a group of musicians playing near the fountain that glimmered in the afternoon sun. The lilting tunes coiled through the air, weaving a spell over all who stopped to listen. The rhythm of the notes resonated within her, leading her to sway her hips and groove to the tempo. Drawn to their infectious energy, she stepped into the small crowd forming around the fountain, where people were beginning to dance, their faces flushed with happiness. Caught up in the spontaneity of the moment, she joined them, twirling and twisting in her outfit that hugged her curves, effortlessly turning heads. The music swirled around her, and in that instant, the worries of the world faded away. All that existed were the beats that echoed in their hearts and the smiles that lit up their faces. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting golden rays through the trees, she noticed an elderly man sitting on a nearby bench, a warm twinkle in his eye as he watched the joyful spectacle. She approached and offered him a slice of her peach, gesturing for him to join the merriment unfolding around them. His laughter was rich and genuine, a sound that rang like an old bell, and she knew at that moment that the simple connections forged in such vibrant moments were the true essence of the village. Each heartbeat, each laugh reinforced the bond they all shared, an unspoken promise of community and joy. As she continued down the bustling street, her purposeful stride seemed to draw the energy of the world around her. The sounds of the city melded into a vibrant symphony, the rhythmic clatter of footsteps on pavement, the distant honking of taxis, and the low hum of conversations weaving through the air like an undertone of a song she had yet to learn. With each step, she felt a surge of courage building within her, a warm blaze that pushed away any residual doubts left from her past. She couldn't help but notice the playful glances that lingered a beat longer than usual. There was something exhilarating about being the center of attention today. It felt electric. People were not simply looking at her. It was as if they were truly seeing her for the first time. Each gaze felt like an acknowledgement of her growth, of her journey towards self-love and acceptance. It was a celebration of her vulnerability, dressed in the audacity to be authentic in a world that often demanded conformity. Her mind drifted toward the choices she had made leading up to this moment. Choices that had once felt daunting and perhaps even impossible were now part of the fabric of her strength. She thought of the solitary nights spent in front of the mirror, battling the harsh voice of self-doubt that whispered she wasn't enough. Those nights had been long, marked by tears and whispered affirmations that seemed to echo with frustration. Yet here she was, wearing her newfound resolve like armor, an unyielding, shield against the relentless tide of criticism. In the depths of her heart, she understood the significance of this moment. Today wasn't merely about fashion or the flashes of admiration. It was an invitation to others, a subtle yet powerful reminder that embracing oneself is perhaps the most daring choice one can make. With this realization came a renewed sense of purpose. She wanted to inspire others to recognize their own beauty and strength. With every glance thrown her way, she silently dared them to see not just the woman in the striking outfit, but the story that lay beneath it. As she reached the corner cafe, she paused to sip a latte, opting for a hazelnut twist to match her vibrant spirit. The warmth of the cup grounded her, bringing a quiet moment of reflection amidst the noise. Eyes flickered toward her from various tables, and she met the curious gazes with a soft smile, unearthing a glimmer of connection. There was magic in the air, a progressive exchange of energies that felt like an unspoken pact of understanding. Taking her first sip, she closed her eyes momentarily, savoring the sweet warmth that spread through her, as if her insides were basking in the light she had radiated outside. She felt not just seen, but validated, the small joys in life holding the power to transform a day into something extraordinary. Today was different, indeed, and she found herself reveling in the beauty of her own daring choices. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the world around her in golden hues, she knew deep in her soul that this was only the beginning of a fearless, authentic journey. As she walked deeper into the heart of the village, the cobblestone paths curved around charming cottages, each one bursting with character, much like the residents who inhabited them. The air was thick with the scent of baked bread, mingling with the sweet fragrance of blooming lilacs that adorned window boxes. This picturesque setting pulsed with life, but it was the energy of the people that consumed her thoughts. With every footfall, she felt the weight of her individuality. The whispers wrapped around her like a silken thread, weaving through fleeting conversations that halted at her approach. A pair of women, their heads close together, exchanged glances and muffled comments. She couldn't discern their words, but the tone was unmistakable, a blend of intrigue laced with skepticism. A fleeting sense of apprehension brushed against her resolve, but she quickly shrugged it off, embracing the very essence of her being. Children, small and carefree, broke away from their play, their laughter ringing like pleasant wind chimes in the backdrop. Their wide eyes fixed on her vivid ensemble, a patchwork dress that danced with colors, radiant like a spring garden. They pointed, unabashed, as one little girl twirled, mimicking her grace. The innocence of youth had a way of celebrating differences, untainted by the judgments that creased the brows of their elders. To her, their delight mirrored her own inner joy, each giggle a cheer that echoed through her heart. Passing by the marketplace, she spotted Mrs. Hawthorne, known for her sharp tongue and sharper gaze. The elder woman stood, arms folded, her lips pursed tightly, as if she were trying to contain thoughts too volatile to spill. Yet when their eyes met, the hardness in Mrs. Hawthorne's demeanor softened for a fleeting moment. There was an understanding there, a grudging respect perhaps for the audacity with which she navigated the societal gaze. The strength vibrated within her, bright and undeniable, and she felt her own smile reflected back at her. In every corner of the village, there were stories flickering to life around her. An old man with a walking stick paused to study her with a mixture of curiosity and nostalgia, as if she had stirred memories of long-lost dreams he once harbored. She drew strength from these small encounters, affirming her belief that every look, whether filled with admiration or uncertainty, was a testament to her authenticity. As she continued her journey, the hum of the village thrummed in tune with her heart. The world may speak in whispers, but she danced to a rhythm all her own, leaving a trail of vibrant life in her wake. In a space filled with mixed reactions and distracted glances, she found a powerful sense of belonging, not just to the village, but to herself. She understood now that being a spectacle was not about the audience, but the joy of embracing who she truly was. As she meandered through the sun-drenched streets of the village, the air buzzed with the symphony of midday life. Around her, vibrant stalls boasted strips of fabric that danced in the gentle breeze, their colors a barrage of reds, blues, and yellows. The tantalizing aroma of freshly baked bread wafted from a nearby bakery, mingling with the sweet scent of wildflowers that flourished at the roadside. Each step was an embrace of the moment, but her thoughts danced elsewhere, an expedition deep into the unknown corners of her heart. Drawing her attention back to the present, she spotted him again, the artist entirely absorbed in his craft. His brow furrowed in concentration, each stroke of the pencil an intimate conversation between his hand and the blank canvas. Fascinated, she felt an invisible thread pulling her closer. The world around them faded, allowing the soft rustling of leaves and the distant chatter of villagers to blend into a background murmur. His focus on the paper hinted at a world that she longed to be part of, where she could shed the mundanity of existence and embrace the spontaneity of art. With a spark of mischief, she caught the sunlight reflecting off the crystal waters of a nearby fountain, strategizing her next move. Gathering her courage, she burst into a playful twirl, a blend of youthful exuberance and girlhood confidence that tugged at his attention. As she spun, the vibrant skirt of her dress flared out like a blooming flower, catching his gaze with an effortless charm. His pencil froze midair, captivated by the vision before him, as if he were sketching a moment rather than shading a figure. "Do you always draw such enchanting scenes, or is today a special occasion?" she teased, her voice a melody woven between laughter and curiosity. The sun glinted off her hair, framing her face like a halo, as she moved closer to catch a glimpse of his work. His eyes brightened, equal parts, surprised and amused, as he struggled to find words that might encapsulate what he felt. The atmosphere around them shimmered, an unspoken acknowledgement pulsating between their two worlds. "I must confess, it's the unpredictable beauty around us that holds my attention," he replied, an easy smile breaking through the initial awkwardness. "But today, I seem to have caught a masterpiece in motion." He gestured to the unfinished sketch, revealing a rough outline of her figure amidst the village's charm. The compliment hung in the air, enveloped in warmth, igniting a spark that lingered just beyond their grasp. Delighted by his candor, she leaned closer, intrigued not just by the lines on the paper, but by the soul behind them. They began to exchange playful banter, punctuated by brief moments of wonder as they shared stories, the tales of distant travels, dreams yet to be chased, and whispers of nostalgia that bound their experiences. Time faded as laughter cascaded between them, a symphony composed of spontaneity and curiosity, forging a connection rich in possibility. Here, in this small corner of the world, they were two souls intertwined, bound together by creativity and the allure of the unexpected. As their voices intertwined under the dappled sunlight, the artist leaned slightly closer, drawn not only by the conversation, but also by the magnetic energy that surged between them. He spoke of his latest piece, an ambitious mural that captured the essence of fleeting moments, a child's laughter, an old couple sharing stories on a bench, and the vibrant colors of nature awakening at dawn. Each image was laced with the notion that beauty existed everywhere, waiting to be noticed, cherished, and immortalized. Her eyes sparkled with intrigue as she listened, envisioning the strokes of the brush and how they might breathe life into the wall of an otherwise ordinary alley. In turn, she opened up about her evolution, the struggle that once kept her tethered to the expectations of others. She described her early fears, the way they wrapped around her like a suffocating fog, obscuring her true essence for years. The artist's gaze never wavered, He absorbed her words, not merely as a spectator, but as someone who understood the weight of hidden stories. With each revelation, she felt an unburdening, as if the pathway to self-acceptance was illuminated by their shared dialogue. They were two souls chasing the same sunlight, learning to dance with shadows, rather than hide from them. As they strolled down the narrow cobbled streets of the village, they discovered an unspoken rhythm between them, rather like the beating of hearts that transcends mere words. Patches of brilliant flowers carpeted the ground, strikingly vibrant against the rustic stones. He picked a small, delicate bloom, holding it out for her, a gesture that felt symbolic. "Sometimes," he said softly, "the most beautiful things grow in the most unexpected places." She took the flower, its softness a stark contrast to the hardness of her earlier struggles, and smiled, recognizing the depth of his insight. They paused at a street corner where an aged tree stood overlooking a bustling cafe. The artist imagined how he would capture its grandeur on canvas, the gnarled roots intertwining like the stories of those who had sat beneath it over the years. In that moment of shared imagination, she felt emboldened to articulate her dreams. "I want to create a space for people to be themselves, where they can shed the masks they wear for the world," she confessed, her voice laced with passion. He nodded, clearly moved. "And I can paint that space," he said, excitement lighting up his features. "A mural celebrating your vision, a place where self-expression reigns." Their aspirations intertwined like the delicate roots beneath the great tree. In each other's presence, they dared to dream bigger, planting seeds of encouragement that would eventually flourish beyond their small corner of the world. As they wandered further, the hum of the village faded into a soft background melody, allowing their words to carry weight, forming an unbreakable bond. In sharing their vulnerabilities, they uncovered a tapestry of dreams woven with sincerity and hope, proof that in the simplicity of connection, something profound and transformative could take root. As she walked away from the small gathering, the sounds of laughter slowly faded behind her, yet the warmth of the moments shared lingered within. Each step on the cobblestone path felt momentous, as if she were leaving behind an imprint of her essence with every footfall. The twilight sky, painted with hues of orange and indigo, mirrored the transformation within her heart. A heart that had once throbbed with uncertainty, but now beat steadily with newfound self-assurance. She glanced back one last time at the village square, where the flickering lamplights cast a golden glow over the faces of her newfound friends, their smiles brightening the dusk. This place, once foreign and somewhat intimidating, had woven itself into the fabric of her identity. The stories exchanged felt etched into the air, mingling with the lavender and jasmine scents that danced through the evening breeze. They were threads of connection, binding her to a community that cradled her in acceptance, a balm for her wandering spirit. The thoughts of the conversations, the laughter shared over clumsy attempts at dancing, the lingering debates sparked by the village's history, and the stories of dreams, both big and small, played like a slideshow in her mind. As her resolve grew, she felt an exhilarating sense of freedom. This village was not merely a backdrop, but a catalyst for her growth. Each moment here was steeped in richness, teaching her that the heart can find its stronghold even amidst uncertainty. The journey through the alleyways felt like navigating a dream. The quaint houses with their colorful shutters leaned toward each other conspiratorially, sharing secrets of the past and future hopes. The rustic charm of this village, with its vibrant gardens and stone walls, held a mirror to her own changing self. It echoed her desire to embrace each opportunity, the thrill of potential coursing through her veins. She allowed herself to chuckle at the unpredictability of life. A simple adventure had blossomed into a torrent of connection. Yet, beneath this wave of euphoria, lay quiet contemplation. What next? The promise of reconnection floated in the air, sweeter than the lingering perfume of petals. She couldn't shake the thrill of anticipation that clenched her heart. The thought of revisiting, of watching friendships deepen, filled her with hope. The unknown was daunting, yet exhilarating. Each possibility a fragrant flower waiting to unveil itself in due time. With each breath, she exhaled the doubts that had once clouded her mind. She felt lighter, as if the village had sprinkled some of its spirit upon her. A reminder that beauty lies in resilience, that every person she met was like a unique brushstroke in her evolving portrait. As twilight surrendered to the deepening night, she knew without a doubt that she had stepped not just into a village, but into a pivotal chapter of her life where possibility was infinite, and her extraordinary journey was just beginning.